This is Micornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. We're speaking about what great managers often say to their subordinates, what great managers do say. This is very important that we embark on this topic. This is part 4 today. And of course, you would have actually listened to us in the previous sessions. And you'll realize that it is very important that we understand that to become a great manager is not a fluke. To become a great manager is very important because it is motivational in a way. It is very inspirational to your own team members. And sometimes the team members perform mainly based on the attitude that comes from the manager. And what makes a great manager, particularly, is what they say. And what they say becomes very important because then the team would know what our manager says is exactly what our managers feels about us. And this is very, very important. Now, the first thing that I would love to bring about that great managers would often say is, where do you want to be in 5 years? They would actually ask that generally, and I'm sure some of you have gone through that, and as young men, you've gone through that as well, and sometimes even during interviews. But this must not be ending up in interviews. It must be something that great managers continue asking. Because if you ask that, what does it do? It actually brings inspiration to the subordinates or employees to know that you've got their interest at heart. So therefore, you are having their development at heart. You want to develop them. You've got future for them. You've got actually something that you want to impart. You want them to grow. And therefore, it is very important that as great manager, you ask such a question of where your subordinates want to be, because that will therefore encourage them. And also what it will do, it will actually help you to invest in their career goals and also their success as well, because they got career goals. And I must emphasize also that many employees remain in a job because of seeing that the manager is interested in their career goals. The manager is interested in their growth and their success, because there's nobody who want to just work and become stagnant in the same position. Remember, everyone want to grow. Everyone want to be at a certain level where they feel that they've grown, because personal growth becomes very much great motivator at working places. And I must emphasize that because many of us don't realize that. It's not about the salary only at a working place, but it's more about growth opportunities. And where there are growth opportunities, then you'll see many people stay. But managers must make those growth opportunities, but also they must verbalize them by asking questions from their own subordinates or team members of where do they want to be in the next year or so? Where do they want to be in the next 5 years? Because that when you ask that, you're basically interested and you're showing that you want to invest in their own career goals. You are showing actually interest that you want to invest in their careers and success. And that will encourage them. As I said, it will make them to want to be part of this team, for them to be part of this company where you are, so that you can be able to develop them into becoming something. Everyone want to grow. Everyone want to develop. Everyone want to become something one day. So please, as a manager, and a great manager in that regard, so you need to keep on asking this question, not only once, but continue asking, because that's the only way you will know what their career aspirations are, and you'll be able to support them in that regard. The other thing that great managers would actually often say or talk is, your feedback was spot on. That's now speaking to the subordinate, speaking to an employee, and telling them that their feedback was spot on. Now, this is to solicit some feedback, act on it, and therefore also to make sure that your subordinates or your team members keep on giving feedback. Because when you are giving feedback and nobody say anything about, you feel like it was not impactful. You feel like it was not even important for me to mention any feedback. But when you realize that the manager appreciates the feedback and come to you and say the feedback was spot on, what it does, it encourages and solicits that feedback so that the feedback can continue even next time. And I'm emphasizing this because it's very important for us to understand that feedback is very important. And feedback cannot be as important as acknowledgement. You need to acknowledge the feedback and make sure that you solicit the feedback and make sure that you also act on it. Because sometimes we solicit feedback, and when we have got feedback, we don't act on the feedback. We don't actually do anything about it. And when you don't do anything about the feedback, you are going to actually discourage the people that are giving the feedback anyway, because they feel like we've given feedback, but nothing has been done about it. So what's the use? Because when they start to feel what's the use, you're basically losing the plot. And that's the time when you are going to start seeing people withdrawing from giving feedback because they don't see the value of that feedback. Solicit the feedback, but do something about it. And share that you did, that which you did. Make sure that they are aware that you've done something about it. Because also, there are sometimes when, as a manager, you do things, you hearken to the feedback, you do something about it, but yet, because you don't give feedback yourself what you've done about it, they are not even aware that you've done something about it, and therefore they are not even sure that something has been done. And that's very important that we mention that as well. The other thing that great managers say, and often say, is take some time off. You have earned it. Take some time off. You've earned it. When an employee is told by a manager to say take some time off, you have earned it, it actually makes them have what we call a feel-good feeling. That feel good. Why? Because a manager saying to me, I deserve it. I've earned my rest. Wow. That would mean that my manager is aware of my hard work. It would mean that my manager appreciates what I do. It makes that an answer that when I perform, my manager acknowledges and appreciates my output. Because if then they realize that is the reason why they say, I must take a time off because I earned it. So recognize and reward extra hard work as a manager. And great managers are able to reward hard work. And those type of hard work is rewarded by just time off sometimes. And I must tell you now, as a young man, that when you are a manager, your subordinates will appreciate any time off. Sometimes you just allow them to knock off early, and that will make them feel encouraged because they feel that their hard work is being taken care of. And I must emphasize also on the very same note that if your subordinate or your employee is feeling sick, even though they are not going to consult the doctor because it's just a headache or maybe some slight sneezing and so on, and you say to them, go home, go recuperate, come back tomorrow fresh and so on, they feel well cared off because you've given them maybe a half day for them to knock off earlier so that they can actually come back fresh tomorrow, well rested and so on. It's very important to do so. And it's not always that when they take some few hours off, is that they must take it as an annual leave and so on. No, it gives them some time off because they've earned it, because they've worked hard. And there are times where sometimes your subordinates work till late and you say nothing about it, but yet when you're supposed to give them at least about 1 or 2 hours earlier, you find like you're wasting your time. You're not. You're encouraging them. And please, when they take time off, tell them they've earned it, because that is recognizing and rewarding extra hard work. And those people that are working hard, they need to be acknowledged at all times. And I must emphasize that because this is very important for us to do so. I want to end up here today, your host, Micornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. We'll continue with the very same topic tomorrow as we wrap it up with part 5, and I hope that you've learned quite a bit out of it. And I hope that this will help you as well to become a great manager like we are teaching you to be. And before I check out today, I want to remind you of our Facebook page, Young Men Empowerment Forum, and also our YouTube channel is under the same name, Young Men Empowerment Forum. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel, click notification buttons as well. Make sure that you follow us on TikTok account, and you click notification buttons in all our social media platforms. And the good Lord will bless you, and you'll never be the same again as you continue listening to us. Until we meet again tomorrow as we deal with part 5 of this topic. So please allow me to check out right here and say cheers for now.